back to another video. So today's video is all about 10 things you need to do before you come to Wellesley. It sounds kind of stupid, but learn how to flush a toilet and in general know how to clean up after yourself. Maybe it's just because we lived in BB and on the dirtiest floor in BB. No hate to BB, we love BB, but like
No, but it was true. It's true. You were the dirtiest floor.
the bathrooms were really traumatic. They were almost never clean, and it's like, yes, there's a custodial person in the building, but it's not their job to clean up after you, if that makes sense. Like, you should be able to flush a toilet, you should be able to pick up your own hair from the drain. If it weirds you out, just grab a piece of toilet paper and just, like, pick it up, you know? So it's just, like, little things. You know, it's a serious issue when all the doors have signs on it explaining how to flush the toilet. So that's embarrassing. But yeah, just make sure you know how to do that. And again, just like basic cleaning up after yourself. And again, I know it sounds dumb, but like if everyone knows and you go there, it's gonna make your life a lot easier. So highly recommend.
To know how to pack in terms of like packing before you come home for summer break, or when you go back home for winter break, or just going on a vacation with friends or whatever. You always need to pack stuff, right? But I still don't really know how to pack, so I'm working on this right now as well. But after going to college, I realized that it's really important to know how to pack like strategically so you could fit everything in the luggage. And if you are still working on that, then maybe grab a friend who knows how to pack.
Hey Rachel, who packs for you?
When I came home, actually for any time I needed to pack, Kamya, dude, Kamya is so good at packing. If you're learning, I highly suggest to learn from her. She's really good. But yeah, I think the greatest tip that I learned watching Kamya pack is keeping all the packaging. So like I had a fan and I just threw away the box, but then when it came to packing, it was kind of hard because it's shaped really weirdly. So just having all of that packages and like the original packaging is important. So make sure to do that before you come.
If you guys want a learn how to pack video, leave it in the comments below and I will teach you how to pack. Because I did have my own Marie Kondo era, and now I'm a genius. So just let us know. Obviously, it's different for everyone what your situation is with how close you are to Boston, if you can go there ahead of time and everything. But if you have the ability to do so, explore Boston before you go to campus and before like all the Wellesley stuff starts. That's something I didn't really take advantage of, and I don't know how Rachel did, but I had visited Boston once before going to Wellesley, and I didn't actually visit Boston. I would just like super quick visited like Harvard, MIT, Wellesley, and then was like, okay, done. But like I really recommend taking the time to figure out how does the T work? How do like all forms of transportation work in Boston? What are really good areas? And just like taking the time to really explore and understand like Boston itself before you go, because it can just make like the idea of going to the city a lot less daunting as a first year. And even if it's just to like go to Walgreens, like I go into Boston to go to Walgreens, and having to do that by myself was really stressful for a while because I'd be like, okay, I just don't want to go alone. So I always had friends coming with me. And now it's like, okay, now that I understand Boston a lot better and just like the social norms in Boston, I feel a lot more comfortable. So just stuff like that can be really, really helpful in the long run.
I think for me, in terms of like exploring Boston, because I was far away, like I couldn't really visit or explore as much, I feel like. But I think just having the first semester, just going out with friends and exploring that way, and like your friends introducing you to the place is also really helpful. So even if you're like an international student or in a situation where you can't really explore Boston right now, you're gonna be fine, even when you come to Wellesley. So don't worry. Knowing how to ride a bike, um, this is not like mandatory, I guess, but there are bikes in downtown Boston. They're like blue bikes, right? I think is what it's called. And it's really nice if you explore the area with bikes with your friends. And I think if you know how to ride a bike in advance, then it's definitely helpful because it's not a safe place to bike in Boston. Like you're literally biking with cars. Like you're in the middle of a road and like cars are just next to you. And so it can be really like scary. And I'm sure Kamya can speak up for that.
So, fun fact, we decided there was 4 of us that had decided to go biking in Boston. I thought I knew how to ride a bike, and then we got there and I got on said bike and we realized I didn't know how to ride a bike. And so that was a really traumatic experience considering I almost got hit by a car like twice. And like the first 30 minutes was literally just me learning how to ride a bike. And then after that, it was like I was biking all around. I think we ended up biking like 8 or more miles that day, which sounds crazy, but we were biking like all the way from like Northeastern to BU to like Harvard. Like we biked all around. But it was really, really fun. It's just, I know it'd be a lot more fun and a lot less traumatic if I knew how to ride a bike before that. So, yeah. Also, on campus, you can rent bikes or bring your own bikes and you can just bike to the different buildings on campus. I know a lot of people that do that. Um, so if you're not someone who's super big on walking or you just feel like it'd be easier for you, whether you're an athlete and you know you're gonna be tired from practice or whatever, like it'll definitely just be like a lot easier if you do it that way. The summer before you go to Wellesley and even that senior year, just take pictures and videos of everything. Like take videos and pictures with all the people you care about, and then like of all little random memories that you think you're gonna forget, or you're like, oh, I'd never forget this. Just take like save it somehow, because when that homesickness hits, like all you want to do is look at photos and videos of like loved ones and home. And so having enough that you can just like constantly be scrolling is really helpful versus having only like a handful of things and then being like, okay, well, just looking at this one picture is going to make me sad. It's like, okay, let's look at all the videos of memories I have to make me feel better. And then even like during your first semester at Wellesley, doing the same thing of constantly taking photos and videos. So it's like when you're like, oh my God, I want to go home, you're like, wait, I'm starting to make a home for myself here. And you can see those memories too. I have so many photos and stuff from first semester that I'm like, yeah, that was a great time to be alive. Like, let's make more type of thing. So,
Yeah, homesickness is real, guys. Like it hits hard. But kind of going off of the picture idea, I think what I wish I'd have done preparing before coming to college is having picture printouts and kind of decorating that in your room and like having it on your wall is also really cute and nice because you get to see it 24/7. So I think if you have any picture printouts, then you should definitely bring that with you. It's knowing your budget. It's kind of ironic how I'm the one speaking for this. But basically, the general gist of this is just know how much how much your budget is or how much you want to spend per day, per week, per month, and just having like a general plan in terms of your money is very important so that you don't overspend like me. Okay, for me, I'm very tempted to spend a lot on Amazon because it comes pretty quickly, right? But if you have a plan and you know you're keeping track of your money and your finance, then hopefully you'll be in better shape than I am.
I think another big thing is like you don't really realize how much money you're gonna end up spending until you get here. Like I told my parents, like, oh, I have a job, but I'm not gonna be spending any money. But it's like every time you go out to Boston, like for example, anytime me and Rachel went out to Boston, it was like bare minimum we're getting a meal, which is gonna be anywhere from like 30 to like $50 something because it's like you have your meal. You also are probably going to end up getting a drink or dessert with it. And then while you do that, you are also kind of like figuring out, okay, are we going to go shopping or do we see any little fun stores or trinkets that we want to talk about or see or visit? So it's like there's a lot of different things that you don't really account for. It's like, oh, you randomly decide you want to take the tea or like figure anything. It's like there's so many different things that you could buy in Boston, and Boston is a relatively expensive city. So just understanding that and realizing, okay, this is something I'm gonna need to budget. If it helps anyone, I think the average I spent anytime I went into Boston was from $50 to $80. And I went into Boston and during the first semester, I think I went to Boston at the very least once a month. I know people that went to Boston every single weekend and multiple times throughout the week. I also know people who went to Boston twice during the whole semester. So it varies from person to person, but I hope that helps so you can just get an idea of like if you want or if you're going to need savings, what that's going to look like, or if you have a job, stuff like that. Know how to cook basic home recipes. So this looks different for everyone, but something I noticed was when people tended to get homesick, something a lot of people did was go to Roche Bros, pick up groceries, come back, and then use like the res hall kitchens and just cook. Like it could be the simplest things, but they were just cooking stuff that reminded them of home. What I started doing was I started making chai. My parents had actually helped me with like getting all the ingredients, so it's like I just had to take out all the stuff from my room, and then I would just make chai. And I started doing like chai Thursdays with my friends Kamya and Aka, which hoping to bring that back. But it's just like having that thing that you can eat or like something that you can sense, literally not just see it, but you can feel it is like just really nice to have. I know Rachel has a different experience, but
Yeah, I think for me, I never really cooked myself food, but my parents sent me like microwavable foods from they sent me microwavable foods, and so I already had like pre-cooked meals and I just need to like microwave it and have that. But just still having that really helped me cure my homesickness at least a little bit. And so having some type of food or meals that remind you of home is definitely very helpful. It's figuring out yourself what type of person you are, whether you are a morning person or a night owl. And I think this is very helpful if you know this in advance in terms of scheduling classes. Like, for example, if you don't really function well in the mornings, then don't have an 8:30. Or if you prefer mornings, then try to get as much morning classes in as possible as opposed to afternoon classes. And also just knowing what type of person you are is also very helpful in terms of your rooming situation so that you are able to have a good night's sleep depending on whether you sleep early or whether you sleep later. So I think really knowing that is helpful. But if you don't know that yet, then maybe just take the first semester and just try out different things. But I'm sure by the second semester, you'll have a very good idea of what type of person you are and what works best for you.
this sounds really cheesy, but discovering what makes you feel safe. So, what I mean by this is like when you get really overwhelmed or stressed or something makes you uncomfortable, it's like knowing what makes you feel better and how you can kind of come away from that ahead of time, it can be helpful. Personally, the only thing I knew how to do when I got really stressed before going to college was hit things. And then I got to college and that wasn't really an option. Um, so I had to really figure out like, okay, what makes me feel better now that I can't do this? It's like back home, I would just go swim and then go hit stuff like back to back, and it'd be like 4 hours of straight up doing like physical activity, and I'd be okay. But in Wellesley, like I can't do that. So really figuring out before you go, like what are things that make you feel safe or comfortable or just feel better. For example, that could be like going to bed at 9 p.m. and just reading a book or cleaning or just like journaling, whatever it is, just taking the time to like trial and error figure it out is really helpful, especially because once you go there, it's like if that's something you already know, it's just gonna make it a lot easier to be able to bounce back from when things get hard. And it's easier to also be able to tell your friends that you make, like, "This is what I need in these situations." And then they can better support you, and hopefully you can better support them, so.
To completely clear your brain right now, this varies for everyone, but if you have a pretty set goal that you want to achieve, then this summer right now is probably the last summer in which you will be able to really have the entire summer to yourself without thinking of anything else. And I think you should definitely take advantage of that, because you worked hard throughout your high school. Reward yourself right now before you enter college, and then you're going to be busy with college work, hanging out with friends, and just everything is going to come at you all at once. And so really take this time right now to relax, enjoy yourself, enjoy your time, and because you earned it, so you deserve it.
Echoing that, like Rachel said, it's like, for a lot of people, that's the last summer you have, whether you realize it or not, to really just like not have any obligations or things that you feel like you need to do. Like, even now, like, I just finished my first year. Me and Rachel are in very different positions with like what our goals are, but it's like, for me, I can't see another summer where I'm just like not constantly doing things until I'm already in med school. Like, I think for the rest of my, like, the next 4 years, like, whether I'm in school or not, I will always be doing stuff. So to know that, like, the summer before I went to Wellesley, I just let myself have fun and do whatever I wanted to do, whether that was working or being with friends. It's like, just let yourself have that summer, because you have no idea what the next 4 years are going to bring for you. And it's just nice being able to go into Wellesley with a completely fresh mind, not still stressed from high school, like completely cleared. So,
You guys got this.
woo! That's all we have for today, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed and you guys found it helpful. If you have any questions, like we always say, you can feel free to leave it in the comments or DM us. We are always happy to help. And then again, if you have any other things you want to learn about Wellesley, leave it back in the comments. Bye.